Jason Hayward, and the Cubs extend the lead 8-3.
Well, the former Brave, Jason Hayward, putting the exclamation point, really quelling any sort of big comeback for the Atlanta Braves last night in Wrigley Field. They were down 6-0. Began actually for Chicago as the Wilson Contreras show. I'll play a couple of highlights explaining why here in just a sec. But after that, the Cubs took a 6-0 lead. Braves battled back to make it 6-3 before Jason Hayward, the former Brave, with his 2-run shot to salt the game away. You heard Max Fried. Matt Pauley told you that Max Fried is going to be pitching for the Atlanta Braves. I really think, you got Fried, you got Tehran, you got Soroka, and now you got Keuchel. And who else do you have now on the Braves staff? And I still like them to be in the left lane, some 5.5 games ahead of the Phillies, who, wow, they just ended a long losing streak. They just ended a 7-game losing streak. Imagine that. I tell you, the rest of the NL East is just a mess. And we'll get to that maybe if I can do a media watch here, as a matter of fact. I mean, it's an old story, but it's worth reporting if you haven't heard it. But that will be after we talk to Caleb Calhoun, Asian House. Vols talk with Caleb Calhoun of All for Tennessee here in just a few minutes. And then I will be talking at 1 p.m. to Adele Harris, the Chief of Staff of the Vanderbilt women's basketball program, formerly the Tusculum head women's basketball coach. And she's now an author as well. She's written 3 books, including one called Refuse to Lose. So I get to discuss that with her. All right. So these are the things that we're doing here. Just to mention, I was going to tell you why it was the Wilson Contreras show last night for the Atlanta Braves. Well, to begin with,
Tehran stares in, gets the sign from the catcher Flowers. The pitch, this one is hit in the air, fairly deep to right field. Going back is Markakis. He looks up, it's in the basket for a home run. Cubs strike first. Solo home run by Wilson Contreras. His 16th. Cubs 1, Braves nothing here in the second.
Yeah, that's sort of like, it's 1-0, second inning, come on, but Contreras wasn't done.
The pitch, ground ball hit hard. It gets by the shortstop Swanson. Racing around third and coming home is Baez. He will score. Cubs on top, 2-0.
So the Atlanta Braves fall to the Cubs. They'll play again tonight. You heard Max Fried on the bump for the Bravos. Like I said, these are potential playoff preview if you want to go that route. 2 good teams in the National League, entertaining series and all that. However, I'm not sure that was the biggest ball game of the day. In fact, that wasn't the biggest ball game of the day. I'm not talking about the U.S. WNT. I'm talking about the Michigan Wolverines.
Coach Feder has, taught us a lot of mental game skills through meditation and whatnot. So, if you're ever in the mindset that things are slipping away, you step off the mound, clear your head, and get back into a green light mindset. And so, you really just try and stay in as in control as you possibly can.
That's junior left-handed pitcher Tommy Henry, who went 8 1/3 innings yesterday as the Michigan Wolverines, in a best-of-3 series that determines the national champion of college baseball, defeated Vanderbilt, the power to win a national championship against an SEC team. Okay, this is not necessarily just the year that Ohio State breaks through and wins the national title. You know how that has gone a couple of times in this century. However, what I'm looking at is how the Big Ten really has changed college baseball in many ways. I know that once upon a time, college baseball, this would have been about 30 years ago, it was coming of age, and you would watch on ESPN on a Sunday night the college baseball game of the day, or the game of the week, Sunday night. ESPN didn't have that many contracts back then for sports, but allowed you to see, say, Barry Bonds when he was playing at Arizona State, or the College World Series, something like that. Usually it was the Miami Hurricanes hosting a game sometimes as early as January. The Big Ten realized that was a huge competitive advantage for Southern baseball teams. And look at the Northern teams that say Joe Panucci scheduled from around New York just to play in the warm March weather of East Tennessee, which is warmer than New York, but it's not Florida. But still, they jumped at the chance to take a drubbing up there. And it sort of showed the dichotomy of, yes, Southern and Northern baseball, at least on a mid-major level, or at least ETSU against these teams that Panucci had scheduled. I think we can safely say that they had scheduled soft. It wasn't unique for a Northern team, certainly a New York team, to play ETSU in baseball. St. John's has done it in the past. Yeah, back in the Cardinal Park days. Sure. John Franco U. But still, yeah, it's college baseball. Come on. Northern schools, you put on a parka, and the parents and the girlfriends go watch the game. Southern schools, you get 4,000 fans a game. There's a difference. So for Michigan, and admittedly Michigan is a powerhouse athletic program, don't get me wrong, this is not Stony Brook winning the national championship in baseball. I mean, we're getting that. But it's still a Northern team defeating a Southern team. And I do remember that the Big Ten years ago really did lobby for later starts for college baseball, beginning no sooner than February. Didn't always used to be that way. And then a team like a Michigan could maybe take a Southern trip to begin their record, begin their season, hope that their slate in March and early April would yield enough sunny days that it would be comfortable for both fan and player, and you could go from there. But it is kind of intriguing. A Big Ten team one victory away from a College World Series national title when it was the Big Ten that really did change a lot of the face of college baseball, making it possible for Oregon State to become a powerhouse. You don't necessarily think of Oregon State as a Northern team, but it's not Los Angeles, it's not Yuma, it's not Miami, it's not Atlanta, and it's not Nashville. It just happens to be Pacific Northwest, not Northeast. You know, you start thinking green trees instead of, gray slush, that sort of thing. Anyway, the other thing, though, I looked at this is Tommy Henry, 4 runs, an 8 1/3 inning outing. They won't even let you do that in the real World Series. In a College World Series, a catcher still has to stick out his hand for an intentional walk. It couldn't just be that the college baseball scene is getting it right, whereas the professional baseball scene is not. Could it? Still think it's appalling that you only have neighborhood of 13 scholarships. I think it's 12.7 in college baseball. It takes 9 men, 10 with a DH to play the game. I've always felt that the college ranks should not have a DH because of that, because then you are talking about a 9-man game against a 10-man game, and I think that the scholarships, the way that they're set up, are worthy of. But you want to talk about the demise of baseball, I mean, yeah. This sport over here, Michigan can give 85 scholarships to. Over here, they can give 12.7. Over the course of time, which one do you think is going to be more popular and more productive for producing professional athletes, or really even getting the pick of the litter of the athletic fold? But anyway, the College World Series, yes, they play again tonight at 7 p.m. Vandy fighting for their lives. We will be talking to Adele Harris, by the way, speaking of the Commodores, at 1 p.m. Refuse to Lose is the name of the book that she has written, and she is the chief of staff for Jerry Stackhouse, the men's basketball team. She also used to be the head women's coach at Tusculum. By the way, I did say that a lot of northern schools, their fan support is, girlfriends and parents of the players. Well, Tommy Henry is talking about the Wolverines' fan support in Omaha.
It's been, out of this world. The families, the fans, the families, that aren't related to us that are coming down to Omaha, bringing their kids, and you can hear them in the stands. You can feel it through social media. It's just amazing. I don't think there's words for it.
Casey Mahler has said this. He's been to the College World Series. He likes to talk about the ping sound of the ball on the bat. Well, you really have to have a love of the College World Series to speak romantically of the ping, the metal onto the old, well, it's cowhide now, it's not horsehide, but instead of the crack of the bat. I have seen bats break, yes, metal bats break, in the College World Series even. But regardless, yeah, I can see that. Hey, our team's in the College World Series, and all the fans go to Omaha. I can see that easy. Sure. Okay. By the way, the game of the day in Major League Baseball yesterday did feature a Northeastern team, or maybe Midwestern if you prefer.
He fires. Kipnis with a drive to deep right. There she goes. Ball game. Jason Kipnis with a walk-off home run to right. The Indians have their 5th walk-off win, their 3rd via the home run. And once again, Jason Kipnis delivers late in a ball game. He's getting drenched, now he's getting pummeled, and he's loving every minute of it at home plate.
Well, there we go. I think you can kind of figure out what I'm going to say here. Indians are still a week's worth of games behind the Twins in the standings. They're pretty much playing for the wild card. And we're not even the halfway point of the season. Still, a moment like that shows you what a beautiful game baseball is. They're hosting the All-Star game. If you're going, wear your Chief Wahoo.
Barter Theater is a